Do you have a dog that's chronically itchy, gets recurring ear infections? Well, you may be surprised to know that there's a herb that could be really effective that's probably already in your kitchen. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. First say hi to Tula. She's got her little Christmas cut going on. She even came home with a nice little bandana. Many of you guys have commented saying you've got a dog with a chronic allergy, you know, where they're demonstrating a few things on Tula, where they're constantly, scratching at their side. All these red lesions in their belly, for instance. Maybe you've got a dog that chronically licks his or her paws. Perhaps recurring ear infections. All those are signs of an allergy. And the most common cause of allergy in our dogs is a thing called atopy or environmental allergy. And it's really difficult to treat. In this section of the video, I'm actually going to be discussing a lesser known herb that may be very helpful. I was recently reading a study in a journal of functional medicine, and in it they talked about a fairly common herb for treating people that have allergies. In particular, some of the respiratory ones, allergic conjunctivitis, allergic rhinitis. But what interested me is, first of all, there'd been animal studies done on it. Secondly, with all my research, I can see that it's essentially very safe, non-toxic. Third, I'm pretty excited to think this really could be a possibility for our dogs, especially those dogs that have the chronic allergies. So I just went reaching into my spice drawer, pulled out some green looking spices. This one in particular smells really good. Often using it with chicken and turkey. Works great in a stuffing. Here it is. Rosemary. I love the smell of it. So one study was a placebo-controlled study where they're actually treating people that have allergic conjunctivitis, some of the respiratory signs, which is more common in people than our dogs. But regardless, much of the same mechanisms are going on in terms of you have this secondary inflammation as a result of a type of cell called an eosinophil, which degranulates, producing all that intense itching and some of that redness. Much the same that we're seeing in our dogs. So this one study, and what they're actually using is a thing called rosemary. So this is the herb, and the active ingredient in rosemary was called rosmarinic acid. And they were dosing these people, and this was over a 4-week period, and what they found is the majority of the participants that were able to take the rosemary had a pretty dramatic improvement and a decrease of their allergy symptoms. Which had me thinking, why are we not using it, considering using something like this in our dogs? First, I went to the ASPCA's list of toxic and non-toxic plants. Rosemary is considered 100% non-toxic, non-toxic to dogs, non-toxic to cats, non-toxic to horses. Next, I went to the University of Maryland's alternative medicine site. It's a great site if you guys have yet to check it out. And they list some of the potential drug interactions for rosemary. It could interfere with the anticoagulants. It's really generally not an issue with our pets. Second, there's a few drugs called ACE inhibitors. So in particular, that they may interfere with or the functioning of that. So that would relate to those of you who might have a dog being treated for heart disease. You want to discuss that with your veterinarian. And third, they say rosemary may be a moderate diuretic. Maybe it'll help draw some of the fluid out. So that might also be clinically important if you've got a dog with heart disease and they're on another diuretic, such as furosemide. So in terms of dose-wise, for people it was 150 milligrams minimum twice daily. So it's about 1 milligram per pound. So if you've got a 50-pound dog, you need to be on a minimum dose of 50 milligrams twice daily for 4 weeks before you could assess whether or not it's going to be working or not. Some of the other good things about it, it's safe to give in conjunction with some of the other supplements, for instance, such as the essential fatty acids. So if you've got your dog, also have your dog on flax oil, fish oil, you want to stay on that as well. How would you give it? Well, here it is here. This is, and if you guys have ever seen rosemary, right? It's more like this herb. It grows almost, looks to me almost like a little fir branch that's growing straight out of the ground. Got these prickly little needles that are in my hand. And as you can very well guess, Tula's not just going to readily consume it. Let's just try her just to show you how it's probably not going to work. Go grow, little Tula. Let's try some rosemary. Oh, look how tasty that is. Oh, good. Smells good to me, maybe not so much to Tula. So if she were to have an allergy and I were wanting to treat her for that, I'd be encouraging you guys to get the capsules. So that's something where you can get at most of the pharmacies. I just stopped in, before I made this video, I stopped into 2 of my local pharmacies. They didn't have it on stock. It's not a very commonly used in people yet as far as giving it as a capsule formation. You definitely need to be staying away from the essential oils. You never want to be giving, especially generally period, just don't be giving those essential oils orally. You can use them topically fine, but not giving it orally. I went online to have a look. I see that Nature's Way Swanson makes a rosemary extract, so that's what you'd be looking at. And as I said, you'd be looking at sort of those minimum doses of 1 milligram per pound twice daily. You need to be giving that for a full 30 days before you could assess whether it's working or not. By all means, discuss it with your veterinarian. The one sort of caveat I did read is that anyone who's maybe got a sensitive stomach, you want to start at a low dose. So if you've got a dog that's prone to vomiting, diarrhea, you maybe want to be a little bit more careful with that. Make sure you give it with some food as well. You're not giving it on an empty stomach. As you can see, Tula wasn't so crazy about just taking the rosemary leaves, which are more like the little, almost like needles, orally. So you really need to be giving it as a capsule. So just ordering it in, through one of those companies that I had mentioned. Well, that concludes this episode of Veterinary Secrets. Thanks again, you guys, for watching this episode. First, I'd love for you to click down there to like this video, click up there to subscribe to my channel. Then lastly, if you've yet to do so, I encourage you to click that link directly in the box below. And then when you do that and you sign up for my newsletter, I can send you my free books and my free videos on how to heal your pets at home with my top natural remedies.